Were you gonna say something there? I just stepped right in, just introducing the people.
Okay, it's 10:30, March 24th, 2026. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll for the workshop, please?
Mr. Malloy.
Here.
Mr. Hernandez.
Here.
Mr. Bernard.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, Matthew was up there for another thing he had to pop in. I invited him up to meet some of the people he's not met yet. If we could introduce him potentially to the public and to some of the other department heads. And he can go back to work.
Um,
Come on up here to the camera, Matt. We gotta.
Would you like so everybody can be over there so they can see you?
Stay right over here. Will you be on camera?
Maybe we can just go around the room and say who we are and introduce ourselves to you. Commissioner, I know you already know.
You know us?
Yep.
You've got a.
Yes. And our clerk.
Lisa.
Bill Danso from Prosecutor's Office.
Pleasure to meet you.
You too.
I'm Gary Newbrow, sanitary engineer, down on near our property in the middle of this.
Jen?
Sorry. Jen Leonard with the Commissioner's Office.
Beth Cotwas Carmichael with Trumbull County Tourism.
Julie Green, Trumbull County Planning. Carrie Delgado, Veteran Service Commission.
Oh, Gary Schaefer, the deputy engineer. County engineer.
I'm Laura Berzonski. I'm the director of the Public Defender Talks here.
Patrick Clark, I live with Laura.
Miss Shelley, you gotta introduce yourself to our new dog warden. Everyone needs to know you.
I'm Shelley Jackson. I represent the community when I come to these meetings.
I'm Matthew Dubon, dog warden down at the council. How's everybody this morning?
Good.
Yeah, I just wanted to pop in. I know I haven't met most of you. I met the other half. If you ever need me, just reach out. Yeah, I just wanted to put faces names.
Well, commend you too while you're here. You're just on the job. We had that horrific fire with how many animals ended up being?
It's 50 plus.
50 plus animals, and you and your staff worked in a great way with the other nonprofits
Yes.
to take care of the animals and get them home, to get them the care they needed. And it's a real, I'm sorry you had to go through it in the first place, but great job right out of the gate taking care of it.
Thank you very much. I give all my credit to the wardens and all those volunteers and nonprofits. There still a lot of things we're trying to figure out, but they did a really good job handling the scenario at hand. So all the credit goes to them.
Anything else? Nice seeing you. Welcome aboard, and
Thank you
sure
very
we'll
much.
be here in front of you.
Hope everybody has a good day.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Item 1 is to dispense with reading the minutes of the workshop session, March 17th, and the regular meeting, March 18th, and accept and approve the video recordings as official meeting minutes. Item 2 is to approve the bills. Item 3, to approve the annual appropriations resolution to provide for current expenses and other expenditures of Trumbull County during fiscal year ending December 31st, 2026 for the general fund and all other funds 002 through 995 of Trumbull County.
Shara Taylor, Commissioner's Office. This is just approving our amendment budget.
And then department heads will receive an email
Yes,
directly from
Yes.
regarding.
we've actually been working on
Exactly.
it already because there's an enormous amount of work that goes into it. So we're already on it.
They've already received it.
Yes.
Very good.
Item 4 is to adopt a resolution proclaiming the month of April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. This is the annual Pinwheels for Prevention event. This is being held at Harding High School again, April 1st at 1:30 p.m. Any questions on that?
There last year, commissioners. I believe would probably be there.
Items 5 through, these are quite a few from the county engineer.
Thanks, AJ. I don't need to cover all of them, but
Okay.
2004 standard permits. So you don't need to cover any here. The number 5 is the advertised bids for Logan Gate. So another resurfacing project going on for bid. We got awarded and paid this spring or summer. That's Logan Gate over in Liberty Township. Number 6 is our annual bituminous material bid. The next is Seth Russell Stevens bid. 7, 8, and 9 are the agreements that are going to be funded by the subrecipient agreement, which the board passed last week. So number 7 is to award professional service agreement and enter a contract. Phase 3, that's the big one, the big section, Mosstown Warren, over the course of the river, it's a bridge. That's with MS Consultants. Number 8 is to award professional service agreement, and that's contract with Thrasher Group. That's to upgrade Lane West from Clyde Avenue to Highland Avenue. And then number 9 is to award professional service agreement entering a contract with GPD Group. And that's for phase 2. That's the center section, the Kimberly Park access road. And that'll take it from Highland all the way over to Tosstown Warren Road. And it's going to include some new right away, et cetera. So those are the design contracts for the new access. Thank you.
Any questions? Any comments? Items 13 and 14 are were submitted by the Sanitary Engineers Department. Here.
Very, very. Yeah, Commissioners, we are substantially complete on Sheridan Drive. We're ready to start connecting into houses there and also to demolish the Matthews Schools package plan and get them connected into the sewer. So we need this document before we can make any connections. And item 14, yeah, we lost one of our clerks there a few months ago, and Bob and Dee, they went through, I don't know, quite a few interviews and determined that Melanie Pellavicki is most qualified to become a new clerk at the office.
You currently?
No,
this is a new.
Great.
Oh, okay.
Item 15 is to authorize the Veteran Service Commission to enter a new contract with Phillips and Panic Architects for the purpose of design development for a detached garage and storage space on the premises of the Veteran Service Commission. Parking lot located at 253 East Market in the amount of $5,000 plus up to $100 for reimbursables. And Carrie Delgado's here. Want to say anything else with regards to that, or if the commissioners have any questions?
It's got to be a shed.
Shed,
This is just for the.
this is just for them to,
Is that the architectural?
yes.
Carrie, would you state your name, please?
Yes, Carrie Delgado, Trumbull County Veteran Service Commission. The reason we are looking into trying to have a garage built, we maintain all of the flags, routes, and markers for every veteran's grave in Trumbull County. So currently we have one vehicle parked outside that we just purchased last year. So it would be nice if we had a separate storage space where we could hold those things. They are valuable. It's the county's taxpayer money that we use to purchase those to decorate the grave. So we like to keep them in the best shape that we can, reuse flags throughout the year if they're not, torn or tattered in any way. So because the cost that we spend every year purchasing the aluminum and the flags is a lot, we'd like to have a place that we can store them safely and also keep our vehicles safe. We currently have a trailer, a 15-foot trailer that is at county engineers. And we've had it stored there for a couple of years. It would be nice. This garage that we would like to have designed is a 2-car garage. So we could take our trailer back from their space and keep it on our lot for parades. It has benches mounted to it. It's a very nice trailer for parades. So just to have a spot where we can keep all of our things in one location.
Did you ever pick up flags out of Vienna at the, I guess there was a bunch of flags in storage at the veterans building out there. last year.
Yeah, they have sheds where they maintain some on site and we just
I
restock them every year, but we,
think they wanted to clear those out.
yes, they would like
Okay.
to, and that's something that we have to write up a statement and have the commissioners approve recycling, the old aluminum rods. And then we've done this in the past where we've allowed them to bring them in, the lawnmower hits them and they get bent, they can't reuse them. So the aluminum rods, we taken to a salvage yard, and then that money goes back into reimbursable account to the general fund. Any question?
So it's gonna be like a 24 by,
24 by 36, 2-bay with a man door. And we'll have electric out there so we can have cameras and
so where's it gonna be adjacent to the building now?
behind the building in the back parking lot, closer to the Colton building.
Thank you.
Item 16, this is a routine intergovernment transfer, class 1, C1 and C2 from CBC Brew Crew LLC doing business as a drive-through to ANS Inc. doing business as the new drive-through. This is in Weathersfield Township. Item 17 is to execute 2 letters of support for Akron Children's Hospital. First letter of support to send with their application seeking 2027-2028 state capital budget funding for the Warren Health Center project. And a second letter for this project to accompany their application for fiscal year 27 congressionally designated funding and to authorize Tony Bernard to execute said letters. And this was a request by Catherine Semo of Akron Children's Hospital.
Lisa. Commissioners, we just signed one for Liberty too.
I can put that on here if you'd like me to.
Liberty one.
We probably should,
Yeah,
I mean-
I can put it on.
you know,
It was kind of last minute.
it was, yeah. Maybe we could get it off for tomorrow and then,
Okay, yeah, I can put that on.
Yeah, he asked us about that. at the
Yes.
Trustees meeting last week.
you sign that.
It's sitting out there, so. Item 18, to approve an agreement between the Trumbull County Commissioners and the Office of the Public Defender. And I have Laura Berzonski here to address this.
Right.
Thank you.
Commissioners, good morning. We are here this morning, myself, Laura Berzonski, Trumbull County Public Defender's Office, along with Patrick Clark, Assistant Director of the Office of the House Public Defender, here to present to you for your consideration the proposal for fiscal year 2027 to provide indigent defense services for Trumbull County through a contract with the Office of the House Public Defender for the period beginning July 1st, 2026, extending through June 30th, 2027. Commissioners, we are proposing a total contract cost for fiscal year 2027 of $4,203,918, with the county's share being for fiscal year 2027, $775,256. The reimbursement rate projected for the next fiscal year is 80% on the part of the state, meaning the county share would be 20%. Of note, commissioners, for the contract we are asking for this year, it does represent a 5.4% increase over last year. That is due primarily to regular payroll increases. However, the county's share, what the county would be submitting for payment, is actually a 2.4% decrease from this current fiscal year. And that is due in part to the carryover and reserve credit that the state of Ohio is reimbursing to the county in the amount of $65,528. Again, we are looking to renew with the county again to provide services. As I do believe this will be our 42nd year providing internet services to the town. We are happy to answer any questions that you may have with regards to the contract.
Commissioners, I would suggest that probably work with Shara concerning, the Shara, you have,
Yeah, I know you guys have had questions. Jared's Mailer, Commissioner's Office. I know you guys have had questions, so if we could just like talk about a couple of questions and get some
Absolutely.
answers and then.
Get back that.
Yeah, we're happy to answer any questions.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, awesome.
So you have a number you can set it and get that.
Yeah, so whenever, like, if you guys want to hang out for a little bit after this, we can, that would be fine. Yep. Okay, we'll let you
Since
consider.
you're already here.
That's fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to support from town, but to get it. I'll have to see. Once I go on, I'll have to get it on here.
It was emailed last Wednesday. I have a copy of the letter.
Okay. And we'll put this on as well. Team Rebel Hometown Grant. Letter of support for Trumbull Neighborhood Partnerships application, North Park Commons.
concerning, oh,
I can
Do you want to go ahead and
Yeah,
speak
if I
to
can,
it?
yes, thank you.
Okay.
Lydia Lynch with Trumbull Neighborhood Partnership. I was here a few months ago. We were applying for a different funding source for the same property, North Park Commons, 347 on North Park. It's property that you guys do own. Yes. Oh, yes. So we're currently using it for the Warren Farmers Market, and several other county actually offices have been using it as well for different public events and things like that. So we actually had the opportunity through Julie Green to apply for state capital budget funding through State Representative Santucci's office. So we applied for funding last week for phase 2 of our project, and then this T-Mobile grant that we're applying for would cover kind of phase 3. So that's kind of where we're looking at. Like I said, this is property that you guys do own. It would not cost the county any funding to if we were to get these grants. There's no match requirement, nothing like that. It would just be funding that we would manage.
you want to speak on that, Julie?
No, I shared the state capital budget with a lot of different people. They did all the work, just being nice.
So all this would be a letter of support from us.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
And the letter's already formulated then?
Yeah. It's just 2 copies.
And while we're at it, commissioners, I'd like to remind, different communities that we get asked a lot for letters of support. And what happens is they don't send a draft or any kind of a letter for the commissioners to, we're not in a position to write those letters. In other words, Lisa, you and I had a conversation concerning that. So there was actually one, unfortunately, Kinsman, that they were looking to get the commissioner's support. Problem is, there was no letter, no draft, no anything, and so you don't, and then it's 11th hour, it's
Yeah,
late,
it's too late.
and you can't get it processed. So I would, anybody, looks for the support of the commissioners to make sure that they provide a letter that we can utilize.
Like a
inside.
basic draft.
Yeah.
The draft, right? Sorry to bring that up on
No,
you,
you're
but
good.
it was an opportune time to bring it up.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks.
Okay, that's everything on the agenda, right?
Mhm.
Anybody else have anything?
But I'm just gonna wait. I'll announce this. The hazard mitigation plan is out for public comment. I do think it's very important for all county officials to take a look at that. It's on the Office of EMA website. I attended the rollout meeting at EMA. And one of the points that the consultant drove home was we have to make sure that everything that needs to be included is included because it will affect future funding if we are faced with a natural disaster or some sort of major catastrophe. So that's on the EMA's front page and they're accepting comments. I'm reviewing it right now until March 30. And I've tried to share that with everybody on my list, sir. So, but any questions obviously should go to Chief Hickey, John Hickey. And we have a bid opening today at 2 p.m. for the Golden Triangle. So I would appreciate your prayers for that. This is the third time.
Third time is a charm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Well, I think I'm sorry, Commissioner. I just want, while Julie just spoke, to congratulate her once again on her addition to the League of Women Voters Hall of Fame in Youngstown. It's a great honor. And you know that you're a major asset to this county.
Thank you.
Thank you
Very
for
kind.
what you've done and what you do, and it's well deserved, that award.
Beth, we had conversations about the commercial. Commissioner Bernard had the idea that the AMP, they show things before the concerts and other places where we could utilize that kind of a welcome to Trumbull County type of positive commercial. You said that you could handle that and then gave us some correspondence back. Would you want to discuss it any further, or is that something publicly that while the three of us are here? I know you have dates and ideas.
I was asked, I have provided those dates, and I'm just waiting to hear from you guys if you want to do it, if you want to move forward, what those dates might be. I will be out of the office starting on Friday for 2 weeks. That's why I was trying to get it done like early this week. But it's really, the ball's in your court. We're happy to help, and our job is to always be enhancing the image of Trumbull County, and this certainly is able to do this. I'm not sure if you've spoken to Sunrise Entertainment, because when I've gone to those concerts, I haven't seen video running on those screens. It's just been play cards, with their sponsors. So I'm not sure that a video would work in that particular instance, but I'm really at your guys' disposal.
Well, Commissioner, we had conversation, and Beth had I didn't think we would get into that publicly this way, but and you had mentioned that, Commissioner, she had mentioned that, when you're at the amphitheater down there, you're not seeing, plus I don't think people are probably paying any attention to, comments made or what have you, what I mean, to an actual video where you're speaking. They see images flashing and advertising, that kind of thing. And
Logos.
And I don't know what you would think about this, but we have, Beth, you took a picture of the commissioners down here,
Which was the visitor's guide.
Which is in the hall, and we had discussed too that maybe a better idea, we could talk to Kenny Hyderis concerning it, about maybe utilizing that picture and a welcome to Trumbull County or something on that order, and a flash. Because if you're doing like a 30-second spot or something, I don't know that it's going to be. You had commented about that, Beth. I don't know. You said it.
I think specifically in that location, there would be some questions as to whether that would work there or not.
I think it's just one location.
If
We have
there's
multiple things coming up, festivals, things, Y Live coming up. That's all they do before the concert is run video after video after video of things going on the green team and different things that Youngstown does and Mahoney County does. Then that kind of bleeds into us with the number of people that go there. So I would request we run it there. It could be utilized pretty much anywhere that if we're giving a speech somewhere, PowerPoint, whether it's me talking at a Rotary or Commissioner Bernard at Kiwanis Club or whatever it is. It's just a promo teaser of Trumbull County. We've done it with the Chamber of Commerce before, where Beth has done it. We've seen on local news media, WKB and WFMJ, Mahoney commissioners talking about their opiate programs. It's the three commissioners. And at least it's an outreach type of thing to let the people know what programs are there and where their tax dollars are going, what they're doing.
Well, I wouldn't have, I wouldn't be, my
It's just like the sheriff, we did the sheriff billboards all over the county,
right.
talking about opiate stuff, talking about shoplifting, talking about, different things. It's an
I don't know how
outreach.
deep to get into this. I
Yeah.
think maybe this is something we should discuss.
Well, can we discuss it publicly?
I think we're looking at two different items. I think we're looking
Yes,
at over there welcoming, and then the other thing would be like a public
service announcement.
service announcement.
Right.
Featuring
Things
some
like
of these,
opioid or mental health.
some of
Or,
these things we do. But I know the veterans, they have a very successful public awareness campaign that they do, and maybe we can talk to Carrie about some of the things that she does. I know I've had some discussions with her that I've seen that they do. But I think what we're doing is we're opening the door with the idea that we're doing two things. We're welcoming everybody for the summer to Trumbull County, and then we do a public awareness program,
Right.
about drugs and stuff like that the sheriff does. Yeah, anything that we can involve the community and there's help out there.
Our footprint social media wise. We talked about that in our last meeting with the consultants. They're working on content to put on social media, to put on our commissioner's page. This is content. This is thing they get clicks. They're going to click. They're going to find services we provide.
yeah, and I agree with Commissioner Bernard. There's two different animals there. You got a welcome, that part of it, but then if you're talking opioid, mental health, and those kind of things, I think those are public service announcements where you could utilize a different type of funding source for that, as opposed to just something that we were talking about doing down there with this kind of like a commercial or like whatever you had worked out, Beth. And I want to thank you for working that out too, because we still may go that direction in another way. But
I would feel, from a public service announcement perspective, I would definitely defer to those other departments, whether it's veteran service or mental health. I would feel much more comfortable in that situation, having those departments pick that up.
Right.
No, we got a great asset there. We have the opportunity. We have the Facebook. We have the website. It's just the more promotion we do, it's going to lead people to programs we have. The more clicks, it's going to get easier access for people to find stuff too.
I don't disagree with that.
And again, with the with Sunrise Entertainment, with this being the 250th year, we could plug some of that into that. I think our next step is to get a hold of Mr. Hyderis and just see what he permits. And I know I did a little bit of checking in before, and I think it's between him and maybe the city of Warren also that decides what goes on there. So maybe we can reach out to Mr. Hyderis and see where we're going. But this is the year that we should be promoting Trumbull County. Question.
Every other county is going to do it, and we got to get our piece of the pie by promoting
And let people
ourselves.
know what services are here that we
And
do.
there's so much good going on. Beth works so hard over there with that stuff. This is just support for her too, with all the different things she's promoting.
And we could change it up too, we could do early one. I mean, I don't know how much it costs for a slide, but early on, we could promote, Trumbull County Fairgrounds. Because that's in July, so. I think it's an option, and I think it's something worth exploring, that's all.
I think it's too faceted,
Yeah. Yes.
It's awareness, and then it's welcoming and
Promotion.
tourism, that kind of thing, you know what I mean? It two different funding sources, I think, for that.
And two different sources, two different areas that will
Right,
attack, yeah. I agree.
but I don't know, Beth, you had something worked out. I don't know that,
I've drafted a script. And I have an idea of how that gets shot. And again, I'm just waiting on 3 commissioners to let me know when, what.
Well, I think our first step is we have to give Mr. Harris. See what he says.
I said that's not, that's not limited there. There's a
And-
lot of,
Oh, yeah, no,
outlets.
yeah, the first step, right, yeah, but that's, yeah, right, no, I agree.
And I would just say too, 250 events continue to come in. If people want to go to Trumbull250.com, you can see the updated events that our communities and our historical organizations, our library, everybody is doing. So if people are interested in 250 events and what's happening there, that information is updated as well.
do we have a 250? Do we have a 250 section of our commissioner's Facebook or website, or is that?
I
a
don't
link?
know. I would just tell everybody to go to Trumbull 250. We've already created the website. So if they're interested, have the link from the county's website to go to Trumbull250.com. We built that last summer as a convenience for everybody to, if they're specifically focused on that.
Right. We should be doing that at the very least. Maybe that's what our commercial is while we're in Trumbull County, but promote the 250 link.
I would recommend something more general because I don't think that as you guys move forward, you're going to do this again next year. So I would, the script is much more general, welcome to Trumbull County. We've got a great quality of life. We have wonderful assets, economic development. It's much more general. And I would recommend doing more general, not including 250 so that you can be using it for several years. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so.
Well, speaking of 250, I've seen other counties that just Ashtabula just did this. In their budget, they set aside 250 celebration dollars. They actually put that in their budget. Do we have any of that? Are we gonna plan any budgeting for 250? Or are we just gonna roll with the free stuff? Are we gonna do anything special events wise that we need a budget for it?
My recommendation at this, because it is late, it's almost April, and 250 events have been happening since last summer. My recommendation is, as commissioners, join in the celebrations and the events that are already happening, especially over July 4th weekend, whether it's participating in the Howland Parade. I was just saying earlier, the Scrappers, along with Warren Rotary, are doing at least 2 baseball games over that weekend. We have so many amazing July 4th events. Let's not try and create another one or do any of that. I think your all's faces and participation in the 250 events that we already have going on, I think will work for you guys. It works for the community. I just think it's attending some of those. If you haven't, Braceville again has been doing 250 events since last July. They have monthly events. The library has a passport program that they launched like a couple of months ago. I know that the Trumbull County Historical Society is rolling out a passport program with different historical sites. I know some of you may not be as social media savvy, but even doing a short video and saying, hey, I just picked this up. I'm going to these different libraries, or, do the July 4th parade. I just think that's best, at this late stage, because everybody else has been doing and planning these events for some time.
Yeah, Julie Green, I recall last year several groups came and requested funding support from the commissioners. I don't recall exactly what they were, but
I don't either.
I believe that the Historical Society had requested funding support for 250 celebrations. I don't know where they are at with that request now, if they've already secured other funding. But I mean, if you wanted to allocate a certain amount from your budget, I'm sure there are people who've already been to the meetings and have asked for financial support, if that's something the commissioners wanted to.
I know for the bicentennial, it was a huge event down here at the courthouse. We had fireworks and everything like that. Maybe we should reach out to the city of Warren and see if there's anything that they're planning. working maybe in conjunction with them. Let's just see where we're going before we commit any dollars to a certain area. I'm just, I'm not sure.
Our fair is a week after.
Yeah,
So I mean, are we gonna have a big fireworks display at the fair? Can we do it on the 4th? We it's our
well, I
fair
think
board too,
these
maybe.
are all things we need to find out. Let's contact the city and see if they're planning anything here. Like I said, for the bicentennial, it was huge and people, I mean, it was packed downtown here. So at least we've opened the door to conversation and let's see where we go with it.
I agree. Is your 250 still meeting?
Yes.
So we
The other
need to have
things-
another meeting. We haven't called one. The last one we had was in
New
October.
Falls or
We had about 30
Portland,
people.
They may be doing stuff too.
Commissioner Bernard, I believe that all of those communities were contacted, reached in an effort to sort of coordinate a countywide effort under the 250 umbrella. So, and I believe all of that information is already on the, what is your website?
Trumbull, well, for 250, Trumbull250.com or trulytrumbull.com. Okay, right there.
Yeah.
Take a look at it.
And talk to the fair. I'm pretty sure they're doing 250. I have to double check their
Oh, I'm
need,
sure
but
they
I
are.
think there's opportunities that already exist.
Nothing else? Mr. Danzo?
Nothing for me.
I'm good, Commissioner.
Alex?
Yeah, Mike Selman, this schedule we're supposed to do. Something with Mike.
What was that like?
Said Mike is on the agenda here.
Okay.
Daily job responsibility.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, you're up.
Thank you, Commissioners, for having this, Mike Salem, County Transit Administrator. Last Wednesday, I sent my job description to everybody, or job duties, basic duties. Did everybody receive it? Have you gone through it? I do have copies if you need. It's basically, you have any questions about the duties that you perform once I leave.
Why don't you give me a copy because my printer's out of ink.
Okay. Maybe it's up.
She's hiding.
I guess first off, ODOT reached out to us about this meeting. Are we gonna schedule that meeting with her sometime soon? As she requested.
Is that for the 5310?
Yeah, they wanted all 3 commissioners.
That was was that a Zoom meeting?
No. She was gonna come here. So it's just me.
ODOT had reached out to us with your retirement starting with 5310 money. And we'll have a meeting on more, what direction.
Make sure we didn't miss anything in your absence as far as the future grant.
Pretty much already have it for 27, right? That expires in July.
Yeah, no, the grant applications have been in, right? We've got 400,000
Right.
for 26, which starts. It already
July.
started.
And it runs through July of 27.
Yeah, because of the way it does. And then the next one is 27, which was the 250,000, which starts in July 1st, 2026. So the grants are done. We just have to stay in compliance. Now, in saying that, there's something that ODOT has put together, it's called a smart sheet that's in here. I've talked about it a little bit. That's where all of our information is in one area called 5310. On there, the Title VI, it still has questions. And I just found something last week. Contract services has questions, and I don't know what they are. So I've sent an email to here right now, to Savannah. What are these two? What are these two? I want them cleaned up before I leave the meeting. So I sent that.
Contract services have questions, or
It had, okay, what it is, it has all of our power, see, all the way down. And it has buttons. And all of a sudden, its contract service oversight is in red. And then you click on it and you can go over to the side and it has comments. But there's no comments, there's nothing there. So I don't know what
We have here, Kira Branch reached out and she said that she knows Mike's leaving. We are good until June of 26. New contract tentatively begins July 1st. It goes to June of 27th. But they need to know how the county plans to proceed with project administration after May 1st. Who is her designated individual she should begin coordinating and moving forward with. So she wants to know who his line of succession is. And this is in support of the day-to-day operations, keeping the 5310 in compliance. Then she wrote back again and they said it will be a virtual meeting, but mandatory all three commissioners be a part of it. And they're out of the office until Friday, March 20th, which, it's beyond that. So we need to get back with her to schedule the date when we can be in there for that meeting with her virtually.
right. I thought it was a virtual meeting. I mean, I'm sure we can arrange that.
It's good that they're watching out to make sure we don't, but that's a warning, basically. Get your stuff in line, keep it going. We need to not miss a beat on this thing as he's gone, because the other one kicks in July 1st, but she says in here it's tentatively. So there must be some follow-up things to make sure that happens.
Well, we need to meet and find out which way we're going here too.
Right.
As far as replacing Mike. Because some of the questions that they're gonna ask, we don't have the answers to. So when she says, who's next in line, we don't have anybody next in line. So, we need to concentrate on what we're gonna do with replacing him. I think that's the first step.
And then that poses a good question. Are we replacing Mike, or are we putting this out for bid? Are we just gonna, do we have, you know what I mean?
Well, regardless whether we replace Mike or not, it sounds like we still have to have a link that's a county employee that will oversee if we go out to bid, whoever that will be. So we need to designate that or figure that out, whether it's a Mike, or whether it's someone that oversees the next Mike person, whoever may be your organization. We still have to have a county link.
I do have a question. You're saying going up a bit. Are you talking about going up 15 contracts? What are we talking about?
For providers, let's say.
Right. So presently, the providers, and I apologize if I said anything wrong. The present contracts are good to February 29 of 2028 with a 1-year extension. So basically, there's 2 years on those contracts. You even have to go out to bid.
So we can keep things as they are right now, just having someone oversee this program. We're good till 2028.
Till 2028. And again, this is more of a Bill Danzo question because I pulled one of the contracts. It has the date on there, but it does not have the extension part, but the extension's in the bid package. So does that still mean they can do the extension?
Bill Danso, prosecutor's office. Yeah, generally, those contracts incorporate the bid documents into them. Part of the bid documents, it will be part of the contract, but my recollection is those extensions are optional extensions.
Correct.
So the commissioners wouldn't have to accept that if they didn't want to at the time.
Right.
Well, we have till 2027.
You have to, let's see.
Without the
February 29th of 2028.
That's
so
with the extension.
if the commissioners were going to bid out for new services, it should be done well ahead of that, obviously,
Right.
so that there would be an ability to have a smooth transition to whoever the new provider would be. But
Correct.
yeah, that's this way it would work.
And that's where the extension comes into play. If, let's just say you get everything in, but you've got a couple bumps in the road, you can extend it a month or two at a time if you needed to. But like Bill said, you probably want to put the bid out at least 6 months prior. Now, the other part of this, though, which I did explain in my report that I gave you, this daily, when you go out for bid, if you're using 5310 money, which you probably will be, you're going to have to contact ODOT. His name's Tim. All the information's here. Somebody's going to have to contact him about a year before, because there's a process that has to go through. And
did you write that on there?
Yeah, it's on there. Tim's name's on there.
And the year before.
Yeah, an email will be sent requesting a letter of interest for their next grant cycle a year before.
Yeah. 1 year before.
Were they,
Sorry.
weren't they, they're in a process of doing something different with this 5310 money. That's my understanding. As a matter of fact, I think there's even a conference that they're going to have. Well, I think you were going to attend a conference.
No, I'm not going to attend it because it's on May 12th.
Okay.
I'll already be hopefully.
So,
should we send somebody to that conference?
my understanding is some sort of new legislation.
Diane said she was going, she's kind of sort of just to make sure.
And whoever, if we have an administrator
I mean, you could have
of sorts that oversee the program should go on that too. That's gonna be firsthand knowledge of the way that works.
I'm not sure what they're saying with this 5310 because I did send something to Chuck Dyer, who oversees. He said there's nothing changing with 5310 that he knows of.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what
I don't think it's changed yet. I think that it's in a process of they're changing the way that it's delegated here on a state level. I'm not at liberty to say, but I do know that there's something changing.
Yeah, there's Commissioners Alex, Stephen, Jonesy Bush. There's a lot of talk about the 5310 in general, and there always kind of is evolving as policies evolve and states' budgets evolve and everything but evolves. But yeah, right now it's can only be dedicated to certain people. So if that changes, that'll be in the future. But as of right now.
And if we did put it out for bid, we had discussed that we would need somebody in-house, at least just to oversee the provider.
I mean,
and it could be an employee in the commissioner's office.
Sure. Commissioners can choose
So-
whoever they want, but you will need somebody short term.
Something to consider.
Well, we need to figure out what we're doing.
Well, I agree with that.
And we got to figure out how we're going to replace him.
But that's just,
And that's going to make the next
some of
step.
that conference.
That's going to make the next step a little easier. Figure out what we're going to do with this position.
So
in my opinion.
the conference of Maine Commissioners is for May 12th, is specifically only for the 5310 funding, which Diane is going. she does deal with the 5310 funding anyways, as well as for the senior and disabled transportation.
But she doesn't want to do all his job when he's gone. She's already made that known to us. So we should send somebody that will be dealing with it.
Yes, I agree. I just don't have any of that. I keep asking for what we want to do so we can get all of this moving. That's kind of. So I didn't know if you wanted to discuss this. I mean, we need somebody short term, no matter which way you slice or dice the commissioners. That's the truth. Because there is still compliance aspects and reports are still going to have to be made. Title VI is still a real thing. ADA. I mean, there's multiple things that we get to comply with when you're doing public transit. It's nothing that we're not familiar with. It's just we need to make sure we have somebody doing that oversight for a short term period. And then that does by the commissioners, like we said, time until the 2028 to determine. However, if you're going to go out to bid and do an RTA or try to create an RTA, you got to back that up at least a year. So I would say
I wouldn't want to create an RTA. I think we would have to go out for bid just for a service
whatever, however you guys
that would handle what we're doing now and then incorporate what we're missing.
like the transit. So you're talking the transit and word route.
And that's one of the
Not a
three
regional,
options we
but
the
a
transport, just
like a transit.
transport.
What did they call it? A transit. Eastgate had it. Eastgate had a.
But I think we need to set up a meeting just strictly for that. And let's address that and bring everybody in again. Let's hear it from everybody and we have to decide which way we want to go. I don't know how else we're going to do it. Because we got everybody out there that has their opinion. So let's get with the clerk and we'll pick a
Could
date.
we theoretically just use 5310 for Diane and her senior services and that's it?
Yes.
And not have an administrator, just have her handle
I'm sorry.
directly without having any other transportation department?
Okay. I apologize. It's Mike Selman from County Transit. 5310 funds are used for senior and disabled.
So
if
what,
you-
Mike?
I'm sorry, 5310 funds are for senior and disabled.
Mhm.
So if you decided just to use it for the senior portion, you could do that. I mean, that is a possibility.
You just
And then you would cut out.
Yeah, but then what happens to the disabled?
That's what I'm saying, then you would cut out the disabled, so
Yeah.
it's senior and disabled. But, yeah,
The 5307, what is that, just across the board?
okay, 5307 is for, get this right,
Metropolitan.
urban. 5307 is designated funding for urban. It comes out in the apportionments that come out in March or April. It's a set dollar amount that comes from Congress straight down. So in this area, and I apologize, I don't remember the exact amount. Let's say it's $2 million. That money is split between, it used to be split between two areas. One was WRTA and the other one was Trumbull County Transit. In the past, Trumbull County Transit Board always received about $500,000 of that money. RTA received about 15, about one, give or take. That's the number I'm using. So the 5307 can be used for senior, disabled, general public, construction. It can be used for a lot of things, buying buses, operating. There's it's much more broad. But to become a 5307 designee, that's a whole nother process that the commissioners have to go through.
So we don't have that right now, right?
Correct. That's what
Warren wants.
Right.
Well, that's
And
what
if
Warren
Warren
gave
wants to get it back, Warren can get it back on their own, right?
They can,
And-
but they're not, they don't want to be in that, but that's why we wanted to call Warren, Gerard, Liberty, everybody to the table, see, what position they might, want to have with that. What do you call it? Whether it be urban, whether it be, just your everyday rider as opposed to veteran, disabled, 60 and over.
Right.
Right.
So what happened with the 5307, I don't know the exact dates. I apologize for this. 5307 was originally City of Niles. City of Niles had the 5307 and somehow, and I don't know how it all worked out, gave it to the City of Warren. Because the City of Niles did not have the manpower, the financial, that's what I understand, to continue with it. And that's when I went to the city of Warren. That's when the Trumbull County Transit Board came into play.
Right.
So, but to become a seven, you got to be financially stable.
5307 and 5310 are two different
possible.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
But-
just,
But a service, a provider can incorporate both those to provide monies for their service.
right. And the 5307 is the one that uses for general public. That's what was brought up when Dan Keating was here. He talked about that they used to do general public. And that you can use 5007 money to run the service for them. So, but like I said, become a 5007 designee, have to be financially responsible. You gotta have
Licensing.
and you also have to have people, a staffing, financial person, legal person, this type of thing to become a 5007 designee. And in the past, unless things have changed, I know I haven't changed, but in the past, you send a letter to the governor with your qualifications, then he makes the decision and signs yes or no.
Well, again, we definitely need to set up a meeting, guys.
Yeah. I agree.
Let's make it known to the clerk so she can set it up.
And like you're right, we need to invite the Mayor Niles, Mayor Gerard, Mayor Warren.
Liberty. Township trustees. Well, Belmont Avenue is a big transit area there.
But they will be in with what the rest of the county does. And if they do something separate with Youngstown, that route, that's between them. That's out of Youngstown's money.
Carrie, you on a transportation program too, don't you?
We did utilize Trumbull Transit with the 5307 and the 5310 funds. We actually bought into a contract through Trumbull Transit. So we had vouchers that we could give to, we had one person whose job was to maintain all of those, make sure that these ones qualified for 5307, these ones were 5310. We had logs of all that information that was sent back to Trumbull Transit as far as billing purposes. So we had a community match of funds to be able to buy into getting that program.
You said had.
Yes.
Had, yeah.
Why had?
We haven't had that. 5310 was gone. Trumbull Transit didn't have the program any longer.
Right.
So what do you do now?
We're paying Merkin for one veteran who needs rise. They can use senior levy funds if they need to.
Right.
But
Well, maybe we should have you at the table just so you know what's going on.
Yeah. So
we would gladly get into any kind of program to help our veterans. We have people that are living in, HUD housing and need to get to the VA clinic. There's only Todd Avenue or Youngstown. If there was a way that we could supplement to help make sure people are getting to their medication, getting to their appointments, we would definitely be.
And we'll make sure you're hearing it. Thank you.
yeah, so what's happening right now with the present program, when it was under Trumbull County Transit Board, the contract was there. Once the board got dissolved, that contract went away. There are all the other contracts. And presently, if a veteran calls me, if they're a senior, they go into the senior program. If they're disabled, they go into the disabled program. So that's how we're transporting the veterans, because I get calls from your office, I get them from Cleveland, and vets. And then if the client has financial problems, and I don't know what your process is, I always tell them, call the VA and they could possibly help you, because if they're going to, if they're, for example, if they're in a wheelchair, which I know your VA does not take them up to wheelchairs. If they're in a wheelchair, it costs about well over $100 to go to Cleveland. So they would call the veterans office, see would they be willing to help the finance, and that's where the part with the Dave Merkin comes in, because he's
We
one.
pay the difference when
You would
it's
pay the
over 30 miles,
Right.
or if it's,
Right.
it really, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
State your name, please, Carrie.
Carrie Delgado, Veteran Service Commission. We would like to take care of the veterans as much as possible. That would free up senior levy funds for other people in the community. This is our purpose. This is what we want to do. So if there is a way to partner together again so that we can cover at least the transportation part for veterans, the 5310 funds, if there's a way that we can cover that and that'll leave, senior levy funds for general population, we would gladly take part in that.
And see, that's where, let's go back to the field stuff. Going to a contract with the veterans would help to get us to get you the 5307, because you have to have designated funding. Presently, we have Trumbull County Transit Board putting in 150,000. You have senior levy putting money in. Then you would have veterans putting money in. That's what they want to see, is that you have designated funding to support program for 5307. So yeah, to go into a contract for whatever the dollar amount has to be. And since we've been doing this now a couple of years, you may know what the dollar amount may be. I mean, you don't know off the top of your head. But
Right. What we did before was 15,000, I think, was all we needed.
yeah, it was
Put in.
500. I mean,
And-
quarter, I'm sorry.
We had X amount of rides that we could give out vouchers. So it really was a benefit.
And the needs there, correct?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
No, it's something we're gonna have to look at, for sure. Your phone will be ringing, I'm sure. Next.
The only thing I got, commissioners, I don't know if we want to talk about this in any other, we discussed before about building cameras as far as common areas, as far as how IT handles release of public records with cameras. I spoke with the prosecutor's office concerning, it's supposed to be that they should know that, but I don't think it's happening. The commissioners, I think, need to be more involved with the process of the cameras. And as far as security is concerned, our common areas, we should be notified of our common areas before anything is released, I believe. Bill, you might be able to talk a little bit in more detail on this. You and I had discussed it. There have been some things that were released by the IT department that never came through to the commissioners by a public record request, which we know that a public record request, you don't have to immediately the next day release that. At least the commissioners should know about it. And the department should know about it, but they're not utilizing policy and procedure on, at least I believe policy and procedure should kick in when it comes to security cameras.
Yeah, Bill Danso, prosecutor's office. The Attorney General fairly recently has been pretty clear on this, that, when it comes to anything that's electronic data, whether it's videos, whether it's emails, anything like that, just because the IT department kind of owns and stores the servers that those things are on, it doesn't make them a custodian of those records. The custodian is the office to whom those records belong, essentially. So emails, that's pretty easy. If it's a email account of the commissioner's office, then the custodian would be that office, that person, however the request is generated. Videos are a little bit, they're very similar, but it's a little bit different because not one person owns, a particular camera in the building necessarily. But the way that we've sort of interpreted the legal authority on this is if a camera for security purposes is located within a particular, let's say, secured office area, then the custodian would likely be the official, the elected official who controls that section of the building. Common areas that are, the hallways, the entryway, things like that are outside of those individual offices. I think there's some question as to whether or not that would be a commissioner's or a sheriff's office function or custodian situation, because the bottom line is those cameras are there generally for security, and the sheriff has the ability generally to monitor those cameras, as I understand it. But so do the commissioners, because the commissioners own the building, obviously. So when it comes down to sort of the policy and procedure, and I'm not sure that we have a written policy on all of this. We might.
Commissioners, Alex Stephen Jonesy Bush, Human Resources Department, the IT department created a policy as far as risk. That was done quite some time ago. I do remember that. I had actually asked for the policy because I was requesting footage for investigation purposes. And, they had said you have to make sure to tell us, again, all you have to say is what you need it for. Don't have to go into the investigation, but who, what, where, when, why. And then there was supposed to be, again, that policy is supposed to be applied. However, if I recall, and please don't quote me, I'm pretty confident. But again, I'd have to go back and look at that policy. It's not a policy the Board of Commissioners own. I had questioned at that time why the policy was created by IT, not my wheelhouse. But typically, when we have a policy, it gets embedded into the Trumbull County personnel policy. Otherwise, that policy is kind of null and void because we don't even know it exists or where it's at. So somebody may have it, but it's not being applied, or not everybody has the same information to go find it, so to speak.
So you're saying there's a policy, but we don't have a copy of it?
Not that I.
So in other words, there's not a policy.
You would think, yeah, unless IT has something that we don't know about.
Yeah.
I don't.
But I agree with Mr. Danzo. I think we need a new policy, whether it be the commissioners or the sheriff. I personally think the sheriff should be involved in it because he's the chief law enforcement officer. I don't care whether the commissioners are involved in it or anyway, as long as the sheriff's involved in it, he gives the okay. I mean, he is security.
Yeah, and I think the bottom line is I would have no problem legally speaking with any sort of policy that did follow that sort of that general legal guidance that's been issued by the Attorney General, that the office who controls whatever particular area that is should be notified that a request has come. In fact, really, any request for that should go through that office, not IT. The request to IT really should come from the office where those cameras are so that it can be communicated directly to IT from there on. It really shouldn't be going to IT directly, in my opinion, just based on the most recent Attorney General's opinions.
And I think that brings up a great point that the common areas, security cameras, the commissioners, we owning the building, we should have access to knowing when those public records are coming in the common areas. As far as the elected officials in their department, that goes to them. We have no control over that, like our office. The commissioners would have control of our office, but we wouldn't have control of, the treasurer or the prosecutor's office or clerk of courts. But the common areas have become the problem.
Well,
I think that's the issue.
Just to throw out, I mean, there's different offices that have different needs also. There's, in some offices, you may have a camera that potentially could view bank account information, social security numbers. That would need to be all redacted and reviewed by that office before it goes out. The prosecutor's office, you could have victims coming in, you could have uncharged suspects on video that those could be subject to withholding or redaction. So that's why it is best for each office to take a look at their own requests, their own videos. And it shouldn't really go to IT directly ever. And if IT gets one, really the process should be that IT responds, says, we're not the custodian of that record. You should go to whoever the custodian would be.
And that would be
Now, I
good
don't
to
know,
have.
again, I don't know if that's happening from a practical perspective.
I don't think it is.
From what I remember, Sherry Taylor, Commissioner's Office, from what I recall, there always had to be two commissioners who approved it because there was a lot of nonsense going on a few years back. And I think, Denny, you might recall that possibly. Two commissioners always had to approve it.
You have to check and see how that, I don't remember proving that.
Well, I think what needs to be done, have Mr. Danzo write us a policy. And I think we need it sooner than later.
Well, I think what you guys should do really, I mean, I think you guys should come up with what you want the policy to be, and we'll review it for you. That's no problem. But again,
We want the policy to be what the Attorney General said it should be.
well, and again, that's the essence of it, is that, the big point here is that IT is not the custodian of records just because they hold them. So the request, and it's really right out of the statute, requests for any public records should go to the custodian of the record, so that whoever that is. And if we, I'll work with Lisa, Sheriff, Alex, whoever you guys want to help do it. It's not a problem. But that's
I would think you have some input from the sheriff on this.
Yeah, and that's fine. And the sheriff,
Yeah, but not everything's gonna be sheriff. Could be a policy violation, could be maintenance
Yeah.
boss wanting to see if someone cleaned the room or not. We're not gonna tie the
Well,
sheriff's
yeah,
time.
but,
up with
but I
that.
think we need some input. I mean, he is.
Input's fine.
I would say if it's law enforcement related, yes, but if it's just policy and procedure related, the department head can make that call.
and I would say too, in the case of the
Well,
commissioners.
I think any department head under us should go through us.
And that's, I was just gonna bring that up. That's a question, I guess, for the commissioner, since you guys are one of the only ones in this building, at least, it's a board rather than an individual official, is how you want that to be handled, whether, maybe you want all three of you to be notified by your department head every time there's gonna be a request for a video, just so you guys are not caught off guard by wondering, hey, how'd this get out? How'd that, where did it come
I
from?
think at least two commissioners ought to get the okay.
That's
That
something.
just keeps the department head in check.
That's something, again, that's really more for an administrative policy, however you guys want to handle that, because again, the bottom line is that, it's really, legally speaking, just more about the custodian of record, not necessarily the process and procedure of how you get there.
I mean, it's no different than the prosecutor. Only the difference is he has to say, so up here you need at least two. So that's why we say at least if you have two here, it's the same thing as giving the prosecutor the same.
So we're gonna need to discuss how we want that to look, and
He already knows how.
We can put something together and then let him review it and then you guys review it and approve it. That's all.
I don't think it has to be particularly
No.
complicated.
Right.
It's a pretty straightforward thing, I think.
So
At
you
least
have
we
it
have
ready
something
tomorrow
to-
then?
I think it needed done
Yeah, especially if we don't have a policy or there's a
quite
policy.
a while
nobody
ago, rather
nobody
than
knows what it is.
later.
There's a
Yeah, if there's
policy,
no
nobody
policy,
knows what it
everybody's
is.
just a free for all.
I mean, IT thinks that they have control over it.
Sure, let me check to see if we did do a policy. in the last
Yeah, and I'll look around because I want to say we did a lot of memorandums and that there was a lot, even before you got here, there was a lot. There was a lot.
And a lot of them contradicted. There's,
Yeah.
see, that's
So we
why.
But I know that you know something because it's just ringing a bell.
Remember faintly some stuff that
Yeah.
happened. One commissioner wanted all the information that
They
was.
they wanted cameras right above our heads
Right.
to watch us all day.
Yeah.
That's pretty much not what you're supposed to do. Anyway,
They're not for that purpose.
Sorry?
Here, has some information about the 250.
Commissioner, I do have one more thing. Sorry.
Say, Jimmy.
Mike Selman from Tech Transit. I've been talking with the vendors. They do want to come to one of these workshops and talk with you about something about what's going to happen.
We just need to put everybody's name down so we have the meeting, Lisa can let
Okay,
everybody know.
I just want to.
And we can have it back at the
I'll do that.
Veterans Office again. Harry just gave us the okay for that.
There's a lot more space you can have in
that's really.
buildings.
And Carrie has some information about the 250.
And the parking's a lot easier there also.
Yeah.
If the garage isn't being built.
We'll make room.
That could pose be a problem. But yeah,
Carrie
Carrie,
said, everybody's name that you want there.
Okay.
Anybody you want there, anybody you guys want there, but we need to get this moving. Bill, we need you there.
Lisa, I'll send you the vendors. Well, you know, I'll send you.
okay,
See if you clone ones.
you do. We need about 5.
Gary, so tell us about this
What is it now?
250 information.
So while we were, Carrie Delgado, Veteran Service Commission, while we were sitting here discussing 250, I reached out to Warren City Safety Director to see if they have anything planned for Warren. He said they have nothing planned. He also said that there's no concerts at the amphitheater. So he texted me back and said that the amphitheater would be available if we wanted to plan something.
In a concert? Then you can sing.
We could plan anything for 250.
Yes, boys.
I would like to see if there's a way we could, partner with the city. I told them when I leave the workshop, I could call and see if we could set up an
What if we have a
appointment.
veterans event down that day and you guys kind of head it out?
I think between the city and this being the county seat, I really think that we should have something fantastic for Warren for 4th of July. I know everyone has their community events that they do, small, but Warren, if Warren itself isn't having something, I feel like we could really pull the community together and different departments and offices together and help put something great.
Well, you're in charge, let us know what you need.
All right, I volunteer.
It's great. We'll do a big veterans.
Everyone sees 4th of July as a patriotic and the flags and you know everyone jumps.
We should. It should be.
And I really think that we could.
Civil War heritage.
Yeah.
World War I, World War II, all of them created this 250 that we have.
And I got an idea that I'll speak with you after the meeting about.
Okay, so I have the okay to go ahead. I'll have an open discussion and email the commissioners and see
Yeah.
what we can work together with the city.
Just give us
plans.
city one and make sure that you have the amphitheater.
I mean, you've done some great things with like Memorial Day and other services down there. And that should be a day of patriotic music and some type of army band or something, you know, playing.
We got Rick to sing.
Singing the blues.
I mean, I would like to do some, I just think it would be so nice if we could bring that.
We could do something great. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we should too. Yeah, because we're listening to all these other communities. I'm sitting there
She
thinking,
has a list.
what if we're commissioners? We should be doing
We
it.
can bring them on. Well, I'd like to speak to you too.
But we need to get Beth back in this.
You do.
We can't leave Beth out.
She doesn't to plan anything. It's too late. Just jump on somebody else's program. I was like, you can do this.
We can do this. We have plenty of time to do this.
Do it.
I think,
Yeah, you can make
I
it
think it'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
One other thing, commissioners. We all know that we have a notice that's been put in IT. Are we going to, for IT department, are we going to look for
We don't do that.
You don't do.
the auditors doing that?
No, we don't have that control.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Let's get this thing squared away then.
Real quick.
One of you is gonna look for the old policy, Sherry's gonna look for the old policy.
Yes.
If we need a new policy. Alex should be in on that too, because if it's HR related policy and procedures, because it needs to be added into every department through the county, not just ours. Whatever policy that is, we should ask all the other elected officials to adopt the same one, so we're not tripping over each other with the standard policy. And it should come from us. We own the building, we own the cameras. It should come from us, and they have to adapt or adopt it.
Well, if we incorporate, they have to adopt, right?
I mean, it's also, like I said, Bill Danto, again, prosecutor's office, like I said, it really also is kind of what the law says. So I mean, the policy just sort of reiterates and makes clear what the law already says. So I'm not really that concerned about elected officials deciding they're just not gonna adopt it, because then in fact, they're not really following what the Attorney General's laid out either. So I think it's more, I guess as far as I'm concerned, it's maybe more of an education campaign with that policy, to be able to have the policy, send it out to the elected officials and say, hey, here's the way this works, just so everybody's aware of it. And, you know, we can throw in, when we do the policy, we can throw in the Attorney General's opinion numbers just to kind of show there is background in the legal authority there for it. But I don't think it's going to be particularly controversial. I think it's just going to be a refresher to people of the way it should work.
Well, but it's gonna be two facets too. There's gonna be difference between media requesting something, a department head requesting something, and Joe Bag of Donuts at home saying, well, I wonder how many days Commissioner Bernard comes to work. Give me all the footage for the last 365 days so I can watch the front door to see if Tony came to work this year.
Well, I think
Yeah, we
That's the
gotta,
wrong door.
we gotta draw a line.
I think with that, practically speaking, just for what it's worth, really the process is the same is for any public records request. I agree with you. Department heads maybe are a little bit different. They can have a separate process, maybe how that happens. But for any public records request, whether it's for 365 days worth of data, which would likely be overly broad anyway, but whether it's that or whether it's media request or anything like that, the general progression is the same. The request should be made to the custodian of records, and then it's dealt with however that public records request is dealt with at that office. So,
And same thing with, if it's a law enforcement related thing, commissioners shouldn't know about it if it goes to the sheriff till he's done.
yeah,
If it's a discipline thing, we shouldn't know about it till Alex is done. If it's discipline or the department head brings discipline up, we don't need to be involved in things ahead of the process.
the sheriff I could definitely see being a little bit of a different case for purposes of like an investigation. But as far as, as far as department heads and stuff, other than the sheriff, that would be really more something for you guys to kind of come up with a conclusion on how you want that to be handled. For example, whether your facilities administrator, is he able to pull up those, is he able to request those videos for a work related purpose without clearing it? That's really up to you guys. That's something that you guys should figure out how you want that policy to work internally. I think as a practical matter over the years that has happened where department heads have said, hey, I'd like to look at this, but maybe you guys want to be at least notified, ahead of time. Maybe you guys don't want to be a part of it if it's I don't know. That's really something that you guys really will need to work out to determine what's best for your office. I think in most offices, there's at least a notification to the elected official of, hey, we're gonna pull this video, here's why. But I'm not saying that that's a legal requirement. There's nothing really in the law that addresses those internal uses of county data like that. That's more of it's a policy related consideration.
Whatever our decision, I'm sure we're gonna run it past you.
Sure, and that's fine.
Nothing else. Motion?
No.
Motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.